I wiped sweat from my brow, grit sticking to my skin. Another day, another mess, I muttered, staring at the craters smoking across the valley. Marcus scoffed beside me, shaking his head. You sound like a poet, Dan. Only poets die first out here. I gritted my teeth. Maybe, but at least I'm still breathing. He gave me that look, half exasperated, half amused. 6 months in, and you still cling to that little hope back home. I can't help it, I admitted, voice low. Emily, Oliver, that's what keeps me alive. Every damn day. Marcus whistled softly. You're soft, man. War doesn't care about soft. I don't care about war, I shot back. I care about what I left behind. He shook his head again, wandering over to the edge of the trench. Dan, war outside is easier than war inside your home. I laughed bitterly, trying to push the thought away. You always know how to ruin my day, don't you? Someone has to. He smirked. So tell me, how's she doing? Emily. I closed my eyes, picturing her. She's waiting. She told me to come back safe. I swallowed hard. Every night, I hear her voice. It's the only thing that keeps the fear from consuming me. Marcus nodded slowly. And Oliver? The little devil. I chuckled. He told me, don't come back a hero. Just come back alive. Can you believe that? Marcus laughed. Your kid brother has more sense than half the officers here. I'd give anything to see their faces right now. I muttered, scanning the ruined landscape. Even for a second, just to know they're okay. A distant explosion rattled the ground. Dust filled the air. My stomach nodded. God, I hate this place, I said quietly. Then leave, Marcus said, voice low. Go home. But we both know it's not that simple. I clenched my fists. No, I survive. For them. That's the only reason I keep moving. He looked at me, eyes sharp. You ever think about what comes after? When the bullets stop flying and you walk back into a world that might not be waiting for you. I flinched, then laughed nervously. Don't jinx it, Marcus. He shrugged. I'm just saying. Sometimes the real battles aren't out here. I fell silent. The thought hit harder than any shell. What if things at home weren't the same? But I shoved it down. Focus. Survival. Emily. Oliver. That was my mission. A flare shot across the sky. I ducked instinctively, then sat back on my heels. You ever think about how tiny we are? In the grand scheme? Marcus snorted. Every day. But you? You think about home. Always. That's what's keeping you alive, isn't it? I nodded slowly. Yeah, every day. I see her smile, her soft voice in my mind. She says, come back safe. And I swear to God, Marcus, I will. I have to. He clapped me on the shoulder. That's the spirit. Just don't let them break you before you get there. I grinned weakly. I won't. I could take bombs, bullets, whatever. I can survive that. But betrayal back home? That scares the hell out of me. Marcus raised an eyebrow. You planning ahead? I've been thinking, I admitted, about what comes next. About who I'll be when I finally walk through that door. I hope I'm still me. Good luck with that, Marcus muttered, shaking his head. War changes everyone. I watched a column of smoke rise in the distance, the sun bleeding red over ruined buildings. Then I'll change too, I said softly. But I won't forget why I'm fighting. Not ever. He nodded, but I saw the concern in his eyes. Dan, you better make it back. Not just alive, but whole. And whatever happens, remember, some battles you don't see coming. And they'll hit you harder than anything out here. I swallowed hard. I know. I feel it. But I can't stop. Not now. Not when I've come this far. He smirked, shaking his head. You're stubborn. Fine. Keep your hope alive. Just watch your back. I looked at the horizon, dust settling, explosions echoing faintly. I will. For Emily. For Oliver. For me. I'll make it back. I swear it. Marcus chuckled. Then I guess we'll see who's the real survivor. I laughed with him, but deep down, I knew war was only half the fight. The real war, the one inside my chest, was still waiting for me at home. And somehow, I fear it might be the deadliest battle of all. The city lights blurred past my window as the cab drove me through streets I thought I knew. Almost there, I whispered to myself, pressing my hand to my chest. My heart was racing. Emily. Oliver. My home. The cab stopped. I slipped out silently, tugging my coat tighter. I moved toward the sidewalk, spotting Mrs. Thompson tending her tiny garden. "Evening, Mrs. Thompson," I said, forcing a cheerful tone. She froze mid-motion, watering can in hand. Her eyes widened, and she dropped the can. "You're back early, Daniel?" Her voice trembled slightly. Yes. I wanted to surprise Emily," I said. She hesitated, glancing toward my house. "Oh, well, that's wonderful. Really wonderful." Her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Is everything all right?" I asked, frowning. "Oh, yes, yes. Just surprised, that's all." She nodded quickly and shuffled inside. I shook off the unease. "Probably just nerves," I told myself. "It's been 6 months. People expect me gone." I walked to my driveway. The front lights were on, too bright, too many, and there was laughter coming from inside. Emily's voice and another man. I froze, thinking it must be Oliver. My brother stayed over sometimes while I was away. I smiled faintly, relief flooding my chest. "That's him," I whispered. "He's just keeping her company." I stepped closer, my hand on the door handle. The laughter got louder. Emily said, "You won't believe what happened today," and the man replied, I know, it's insane." "Oliver, I thought you were at work," I muttered under my breath. I pushed the door slowly. "Emily." The voices stopped abruptly. Silence. Then a creak. Footsteps. I froze, unsure if I should call her name again. "Daniel." A woman's voice, softer than I remembered. "Emily." I stepped inside, my heart pounding. There was a pause. Then laughter, nervous, hurried. "Oh, Daniel," she said, voice catching. "Who's here with you?" I asked, trying to keep my tone calm, even though my stomach tightened. Emily opened her mouth, then hesitated. The man stepped forward, but I couldn't see his face clearly yet. "It's Oliver," I said quickly to myself, trying to soothe the knot in my chest. I laughed softly, shakily. "Hey, little brother. Didn't expect you here tonight." There was no reply, just silence. My heart sank slightly, but I told myself, it's fine. He's just taking care of her. That's all. Emily came closer, smiling faintly. "I didn't want to wake you. We were talking. Talking." My stomach twisted. "About what?" I asked, stepping further inside. "Oh, just day-to-day stuff," she said, glancing at the man beside her. He shifted nervously. "I see," I said, trying to keep my voice light. "You looked happy." Emily's smile faltered for a moment, then returned. "We were, yes. Just talking. About life." I nodded slowly, watching her, searching for any sign of normality. I forced a laugh. "Good. That's good to hear." The man, Oliver, I reminded myself, moved closer to Emily. "Daniel." I waved my hand, cutting him off. No, it's fine. I get it. You're here for her. That's all." Emily's eyes flickered nervously. "I didn't mean." "I know," I said quickly, trying to calm the sudden panic rising in my chest. "I trust you, both of you. It's okay. It feels weird after 6 months being away." There was silence for a moment. Then Emily said softly, I missed you, Daniel." I smiled faintly, though my stomach churned. "I missed you too. Every single day." We stood there for a long moment, her hand reaching for mine. I wanted to believe it was just longing and relief, but deep inside, a strange unease coiled in my chest. I forced a laugh. I can't believe I finally made it home. I imagined this moment so many times. Emily smiled, but her eyes darted briefly to Oliver, then back to me. My smile faltered, but I ignored it. I wanted to trust her. I needed to trust her. "Come inside properly," she said softly. "Sit, let's catch up." I nodded, stepping further into the living room. I glanced at Oliver. He gave me a faint smile, but it didn't reach his eyes. I swallowed hard, forcing my mind to stay positive. It's good to be home. Really good. But in the back of my mind, a tiny, sharp warning whispered, something I couldn't shake. A feeling I pushed aside because I wanted home, I wanted them, I wanted normal. And yet, that feeling lingered, like a shadow waiting just beyond the warmth of the lights. Chapter 3. The door I shouldn't have opened. Word count, 900. I crept to the door, hand trembling as I gripped the handle. Every instinct screamed at me to stop, but I needed to see her. I turned the knob slowly, letting the door open just a crack. And then I froze. Emily was in another man's arms. My chest tightened, my knees threatening to buckle. The man, it wasn't a stranger. It was Oliver, my own brother. Time seemed to stop. The laughter between them echoed like a blade through my chest. We have to be careful, Emily whispered, soft and intimate. He's not coming back anytime soon, Oliver replied, voice calm, but it carried a weight I couldn't bear. I felt my hands go numb. My bag slipped from my fingers and hit the floor with a thud. The sound seemed deafening in the sudden silence. Emily froze. Her eyes widened. Daniel? Oliver stepped forward, hands raised slightly. It's not what you think. I laughed bitterly, though it was more a sob than humor. Then tell me what I should think. My voice cracked. Rage and betrayal tangled in every word. Emily's hand reached for me. Daniel, wait. Wait for what? I snapped. How long have you been waiting for me to die, huh? 6 months? That's how long I fought, Oliver. 6 months. And this is what I come home to. Oliver flinched, but tried to keep calm. Dan, it's complicated. I never wanted. Complicated? I barked, stepping closer. My vision blurred with unshed tears. You were supposed to be my brother. And you. I gestured toward Emily, voice breaking. You were my wife? Emily's eyes filled with tears, voice trembling. Daniel, please. Listen. I thought you were dead. Thought I was dead. I echoed, disbelief cutting through me like ice. Do you have any idea what I went through? The nightmares, the bombs, the fear? All I had in my mind was coming home to you too. She reached out, her hand brushing mine. Daniel, I pulled back, shaking my head. Don't. Just don't. My heart pounded, and every part of me screamed to strike, to scream, to break everything. But I didn't. Somehow I didn't. Oliver swallowed hard. Dan, I thought you'd never come back. I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. A mistake. I spat, laughter bitter and uneven. You call this a mistake? This is betrayal. This is every promise you ever made, every memory we shared, thrown away. Emily's lips quivered. Daniel, I didn't know they told me. I didn't know. I shouted, hands gripping the doorframe to keep from collapsing. You didn't know? You laughed with him, held him, whispered to him. And you call that not knowing? Oliver stepped closer. I love you, Daniel, but... Love me? I screamed, voice hoarse, echoing off the walls. Do you know what love is? Love doesn't wait for someone to die to sneak into their bed. Love doesn't betray blood and vows. Emily sobbed softly. Daniel, please. I laughed, low and bitter, shaking my head. Please? You don't get to say please. You don't get to make excuses. You don't get to my throat tightened. Words fail me. I sank to the floor for a second, head in my hands, trying to make sense of the impossible. The warmth I'd imagined, the safe haven I dreamed of gone. Shattered. I trusted you. I yelled, looking up at them. Tears streaked my face. I trusted both of you with everything I had. And this is how you repay me. Oliver's eyes softened, but there was fear there too. Dan, it wasn't supposed to happen this way. Stop. I shouted. Don't. Just don't speak. I can't hear it. I can't even look at you. My voice broke again. I don't even know who you are anymore. Who you think I am. Who you think you are. Emily's voice cracked. Daniel, I never stopped loving you. I laughed hollowly, standing slowly. Then why did you do this? Why him? Oliver shook his head. I didn't plan it, I swear. I couldn't control it once it started. Control it? I repeated, voice trembling. Control it? You had every choice in the world. And you chose betrayal. You chose lies. You chose to destroy me. Silence fell. Emily looked at me, tears streaming, and I felt the tiniest flicker of the man I loved still lingering somewhere in her eyes. But I couldn't reach it. I exhaled slowly, trying to calm my storming chest. I can't do this right now. I need space. I need air. I need time to figure out who I am after this. Oliver stepped forward again. Daniel, please. I raised my hand, stopping him. No, not yet. You've done enough talking. Now I need silence. I need the truth to settle in my head. I turned and walked out the door without another word. The cool night air hit my face, sharp and clean. I let the door close behind me, shutting them in a world I couldn't live in anymore. And as I walked away, I realized something I couldn't ignore. The war I thought I survived overseas was nothing compared to the battlefield waiting at home. I didn't know how long I sat on Marcus's couch, staring at the ceiling. My hand still shook. My chest felt tight, and every memory of the night at home stabbed me anew. Marcus came back from the kitchen with 2 mugs of tea, setting one in front of me without a word. He sat down, watching me carefully. Finally, I spoke. Marcus, it's worse than I imagined. Emily, Oliver, I can't even explain. He nodded slowly. I know. You don't have to. I've seen your face. I've seen your hands. They tell me everything. I trusted them. I shouted suddenly. I fought my way through hell thinking I had a family waiting for me. And this, my voice broke. This is what I come back to. They didn't just betray you, Marcus said quietly, leaning forward. They replaced you. I froze, the words sinking deep. Replace me? Yes, he said. You went to war, Daniel. You risked your life. And while you were gone, they moved on. Pretended you didn't exist. I laughed bitterly, the sound hollow. Pretended I didn't exist. You're right. That's exactly what it feels like. Marcus placed a hand on my shoulder. Dan, you need to calm down. Think, not just react. I know it hurts. God, I know it hurts. But you can't let this destroy you. You're stronger than you think. I buried my face in my hands. I don't know if I'm strong anymore. I don't know who I am after this. Everything I believed in gone. A knock at the door startled me. Marcus called out, "It's open." The door swung open, and a woman stepped in. Calm, composed, sharp-eyed. Marcus smiled faintly. Dan, this is Sophie, my cousin. She's good at figuring things out. Law, strategy, keeping people from making stupid decisions. Sophie extended her hand. Daniel, I heard a lot just now. You don't need to explain. I'm here to help you think clearly, not emotionally. I shook her hand weakly. Help me think clearly? Yes, she said, her tone steady. Right now, you're angry, hurt, and confused. That's normal. But if you want justice, if you want control, you have to be smart. Not loud, not violent. Smart. I sank back into the couch. Smart. I've spent 6 months dodging bullets. And now I'm supposed to be smart with them. Sophie raised an eyebrow. Different kind of bullets, Daniel. And yes, you can handle them if you focus. I ran a hand over my face. I don't even want to look at her, Marcus. I can't. You don't have to, Marcus said. Not yet. Just think about what you can do, not what you can't. That's the first step. My phone buzzed relentlessly on the table. I ignored it first, hoping it would stop. But the ringing grew insistent. Finally, I picked it up. Hello, I said, voice tight. Daniel, please. Emily's voice cracked, full of pleading. I need to explain. I didn't mean for any of this. Please, just hear me. I tightened my grip on the phone. Emily, I can't. Not now. I can't even just stop. I ended the call and threw the phone onto the couch. She called again immediately. I didn't answer. And again, I stayed silent, letting the calls go to voicemail. Sophie leaned forward. See, you have power right now, Daniel. You decide when, how, and if you even hear from them. Don't let them control you through your emotions. I nodded slowly, feeling some of the tension ease. Power. I haven't felt that in weeks. Maybe I need to start thinking about it. Marcus handed me another mug of tea. You survived war, Dan. You can survive this. Only difference, you fight with your mind now. I stared into the tea, swirling it slowly. My mind, I need to trust it again. I need to remember who I am, even after this betrayal. Sophie smiled faintly. Exactly. You're not broken. You're angry. You're hurting. That's fine. But use it. Strategize. Plan. Control. That's how you survive this war at home. I exhaled slowly, letting the words sink in. Control. Plan, not react. Right? I can do that. I have to do that. Marcus leaned back, smiling faintly. Good. That's the start. You don't have to forgive, not yet. You just have to be smart. Let them see you, but only when you're ready. I nodded again, feeling a tiny spark of something I hadn't felt in weeks. Purpose. I could do that. I will. I'll rebuild myself, think clearly, and take back what's mine. Slowly. Carefully. Smart. Sophie leaned back, satisfied. Exactly. Justice doesn't have to be loud to be effective. And right now, Daniel, you have the opportunity to be more than angry. You have the opportunity to be precise. That's how you win. I sipped my tea, letting it warm me. Silence fell over the room, but it felt different. Less like despair, more like strategy forming. I whispered to myself, I won't let them destroy me. I won't. Not anymore. And for the first time in hours, I felt like I could breathe. I didn't know if I wanted to see her, but I agreed to meet Emily in a small cafe. The place smelled faintly of coffee and pastries, but I barely noticed. All I could see was her face, the one I thought I'd never stop missing. Daniel, she said as I approached, voice low and shaky. I need you to hear me. I sat across from her, keeping my arms crossed. Go on, I said flatly, though my chest tightened. She took a deep breath. I thought you were dead. They told me your unit, your whole team was gone. I didn't know how to survive without you. I froze. They told you I was dead? My voice was hoarse. Who told you that? Emily looked down at her hands. Oliver. He said it happened on mission. I believed him. I thought I lost you. I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. You believed him. You trusted him. My brother told you I was dead, and you believed him? Daniel, I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I was lost. She looked up at me, tears in her eyes. I didn't want to hurt you. Didn't want to hurt me? I repeated, voice rising. Emily, he lied. He lied to you. He lied to me. How could you not see that? Emily flinched. I didn't know what to think. I thought you were gone. I pushed my chair back slightly, running a hand over my face. Gone? Gone doesn't explain the nights I spent thinking of you. Gone doesn't explain the 6 months of hell I went through, believing I'd come home to you. Her lips trembled. Daniel, I'm so sorry. I shook my head, feeling rage and hurt mix in my chest. Sorry? Do you think sorry fixes this? Do you think words can undo the betrayal? Emily went silent, tears streaming down her cheeks. I never stopped loving you. I stared at her, searching for the woman I thought I knew. Then why? I whispered. Why everything else? Why him? She didn't answer. I could feel the silence pressing down on me. Later that evening, I confronted Oliver in his flat. He opened the door reluctantly, avoiding my eyes. Dan, he said nervously. We need to talk. Yeah, I said coldly, stepping inside. We do. You lied to her. You lied to me. You told her I was dead. Oliver's face paled. I loved her, Dan. I didn't plan it like this. You loved her, I shouted, fists clenching. You used my supposed death to steal everything. That's your love. I didn't want this. I didn't know how to stop it once it started. I was afraid. Afraid? I cut him off. Afraid? You're my brother. Afraid doesn't give you the right to betray your family, to betray your blood. Oliver took a step back. I know it's wrong. I'm sorry. Sorry, I echoed, voice shaking. Sorry doesn't erase 6 months of hell. Sorry doesn't erase what you did. He flinched, looking away. I didn't want to hurt you. I swear. I thought she loved me too. I made mistakes. Mistakes. I repeated, voice low and dangerous. This wasn't a mistake. This was calculated. You manipulated her, Oliver. You lied. You planned this, at least enough to let it happen. He said nothing, just lowered his head. I left before I could do anything I'd regret. I needed answers, facts, not excuses. The next day, I called Captain Richard Evans, my commanding officer. The line clicked, then his familiar voice came through. Daniel? You're calling, unexpected. Everything okay? Captain, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I need to know something. Was I ever officially reported dead? There was a pause. No, Daniel. There was no official report declaring you dead. What? I swallowed hard, the pieces falling into place. Then Oliver, he lied. He told Emily I was gone, manipulated everything. He made her believe I was dead. I see, Captain Evans said slowly. That's serious. You have proof of your return, your unit status, everything. Yes, I said. I do. You play them both. You have every right to confront him, Captain Evans said quietly. But be careful. This is more than emotional. It's deliberate, Daniel. I ended the call, sitting back and staring at the wall. The betrayal had shifted. This wasn't just accident or misunderstanding. This was intentional. calculated. I felt a strange clarity settle over me. My chest still burned with hurt, but beneath it, a new emotion stirred, awareness. I wasn't just the betrayed husband or brother. I was awake. I whispered to myself, so this is how it begins. Not just pain, but understanding. Not just heartbreak, but control. I see it now. The room felt colder, sharper. The anger still simmered, but the hurt transformed into focus. For the first time since returning, I felt ready. Not for forgiveness, not for revenge yet, but to face reality with eyes wide open. And in that moment, I realized I wouldn't be broken by them. I would be awakened by them. I woke up one morning, staring at the ceiling, and realized I didn't feel the urge to yell, to fight, to break something. I just felt calm, calculating. Sophie, I said the next day, as we sat in her office, we don't do anything impulsive. No yelling, no confrontation, nothing emotional. She raised an eyebrow. You mean you want to fight smart? Not loud. Exactly. I want control. Not revenge right now. Not yet. Sophie nodded, her calm gaze steady. Good. That's how you win long term. Legal, financial, evidence, everything. Don't leave a single loophole. I leaned forward. Make sure everything, property, accounts, contracts, it's all mine. I want it airtight. They can't touch it without going through me. Sophie smiled faintly. Already ahead of you. I prepared everything. You just need to sign. I did, carefully. Every signature, every document. I could feel the shift taking hold, the power moving quietly back into my hands. Later, I met Marcus at the gym. I'd started training again, pushing my body, feeling it strengthen. My mind felt sharper too. You really are taking the slow route, Marcus said, lifting a dumbbell. Most guys would have stormed in, broken a few bones, shouted a lot of words. I chuckled, wiping sweat from my forehead. Slow is better. Let them destroy themselves. I just need to watch. Wait. Let it happen naturally. Marcus nodded. Good. You don't need to destroy them, Dan. Just step back and watch. That's the hard part, letting them dig their own hole. I grinned faintly. Dig they will. Trust me. A few days later, Mrs. Thompson called me. Her voice trembled with excitement. Daniel, I think they're already starting to fight. I overheard them this morning. Really? I asked, leaning against the counter. Yes. Emily yelled, You lied to me, and Oliver shouted back, I did it for us. They didn't even notice I was there. She chuckled softly. I laughed quietly. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. They're cracking already. Sophie joined me later that week. Emails, letters, legal notices, all delivered quietly. They don't even realize the pressure yet. But it's building. Slowly, methodically. I nodded. Good. Let them feel it. Let them squirm. I don't need screams. I don't need confrontation. Just results. At home, I trained, working out until my muscles burned. I ran until my lungs ached. Every drop of sweat felt like a small reclamation. I wasn't just rebuilding my body, I was rebuilding my mind. Daniel, Marcus said one evening as we sparred lightly, I've noticed a difference. You're calmer, sharper. You're not broken. You're alive. Stronger than before. I am, I said, ducking a punch. I can feel it. And this is just the start. They think they're winning, but the truth always comes out. Sophie called me the next morning. Daniel, check your accounts. Everything is secure. Emily can't touch a thing without leaving a trail. Oliver's trying to move funds. They're blocked. He's frustrated already. I smiled. Excellent. Let it be frustrated. Let her feel panic creeping in. They'll start blaming each other soon. And they did. Mrs. Thompson reported another argument. Emily shrieked. You said it was for us. It wasn't. Oliver shouted back. I did it for her. For you. And now you act like I'm the enemy. I sat back in my chair, feeling a strange satisfaction. Not anger. Not joy. Just clarity. The power had shifted. Slowly, methodically. Sophie leaned in, voice calm. This is the part most people can't handle. Waiting. Watching. Doing nothing but letting their actions unravel. But you're doing it. You're strong enough. I nodded slowly. I've fought actual wars. I've faced death. This is different, but I can handle it. Patience. Strategy. That's all I need now. The gym became my sanctuary. Sweat, pain, focus. Every day, I trained harder, thinking clearer. I distanced myself emotionally, keeping Emily and Oliver as distant problems, not immediate threats. Marcus noticed the change too. You're not even angry anymore, Dan. Not like before. You're calculating, watching the pieces fall into place without touching them. That's impressive. I don't want anger, I said quietly, punching the bag harder. Anger clouds thinking. I want control. Calm. Precision. Sophie stopped by that evening with updates. Daniel, they're arguing more. Emily's scared. Oliver's trying to justify everything. But the cracks, they're showing. You don't even need to confront them. It's happening. I allowed myself a small smile. Let them fight. Let them unravel themselves. All I have to do is stay strong, keep focused, and watch. Slowly, it's working. The slow burn of karma had begun. I wasn't shouting, I wasn't reacting. I was rebuilding, controlling, and letting them collapse under the weight of their own choices. And for the first time in months, I felt power. Quiet, patient, unstoppable power. The knock on my door came late afternoon. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened it, Emily stood there, eyes red and puffy, trembling slightly. Daniel, she began, voice breaking. I studied her quietly, not rushing. Speak, I said softly. She swallowed hard. I made a mistake. I want to fix this. Please, I can't live knowing what I did. I looked at her calmly, letting the words sink into the silence. You didn't make a mistake, Emily. You made a choice. Her hands dropped to her sides. A choice, she whispered, voice barely audible. Yes, I said steadily. A conscious choice to betray me, to trust him over me, to let him take what wasn't his. That wasn't a slip. That was intentional. Emily's tears rolled freely down her cheeks. Daniel, I thought I was protecting myself. I never stopped loving you. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I shook my head slowly. Fear doesn't justify betrayal. Love doesn't justify deceit. You can't undo it, Emily. You can only face the consequences of your choice. She nodded, defeated. I understand. I closed the door gently behind her, leaving the words hanging in the air. Later that week, Oliver stormed into my office, slamming the door behind him. His face was red, his jaw tight. You planned this, he shouted, fists clenching. I leaned back in my chair, hands folded. Planned what? I asked calmly. This. All of this. The downfall. The loss. You. I cut him off. No, Oliver. You did this. You set it in motion the moment you lied to Emily. I just let it happen. He froze, staring at me, disbelief and rage warring in his eyes. Let happen? You didn't even fight back? You watched me ruin myself. I watched you ruin yourself, I said evenly. I didn't have to do a thing. You made the choices. Every argument, every lie, every step you took, you created this. Oliver's fists shook at his sides. You're cold. You're unfeeling. You enjoy this. I feel nothing about it, I replied. I feel clarity, understanding. You brought this on yourself. That's all. His face twisted with fury. James told me. He told me you've always had it easy. Everyone loves you. Everything works for you. He said I was always second. I raised an eyebrow. So, this is envy, Oliver? That explains everything. Yes, he shouted, stepping closer. I couldn't stand watching you. I wanted what was mine. And he stopped, swallowing hard. And now it's gone. I nodded slowly. Exactly. It's gone because you chose wrong. Because you lied, manipulated, and ignored the truth. He shook his head, voice cracking. I lost everything, my job, my friends, even her trust. All because of you. No, I said firmly. All because of you. You lost everything. You dug your own hole, Oliver. I just stood back and watched. He sank into a chair, head in his hands. I can't believe this. I worked for years. I did what I thought was right, and now it's all gone. Everything I thought mattered gone. I said nothing, just watched him collapse under the weight of his choices. Later, I ran into James Walker, Oliver's friend. He looked uneasy. Daniel, I need to tell you something. Oliver, he always envied you. Since school, since work, he thought everything you had came easy. He resented you more than anyone could imagine. I nodded, listening carefully. So this isn't just about Emily or me. This is his lifelong jealousy. James sighed. Yes, he's always wanted to be you, but he never could. That's why he manipulated everything. I just didn't know it would go this far. I leaned back, letting the information settle. That explains a lot. That explains the cruelty, the obsession. And now he's facing reality. Slowly, painfully, he created his own downfall. Emily called that night, voice quiet, trembling. Daniel, I see it now. I understand. But it's too late. I can't change anything. I didn't answer. I let the call go to voicemail. No words could fix what had been broken. The next morning, I saw Oliver again, sitting on the edge of his bed, staring at the floor. I lost everything, he whispered. I loved her, I loved my life, and now nothing. I remained silent, standing by the door. No sympathy, no rage, just clarity. You always had everything handed to you, he muttered. I thought I could take it, but I failed. You didn't fail me, I said quietly. You failed yourself. You failed everyone who trusted you. That's the difference. He flinched, swallowing hard. I can't undo it. No, I said calmly. You can't. But maybe now you understand the weight of your choices. Oliver didn't respond. He just sat there, broken. And Emily, she realized too late. Her regret hung in the air, heavy, suffocating. She understood now that choices have consequences, and some mistakes can never be undone. I left them to it. I didn't gloat, didn't speak, didn't act. I let them face what they had created, silently. Finally, I whispered to myself, this is the end of what was. The truth always finds its way, and those who betray, they pay. I sat across from Sophie in her office, the papers neatly stacked in front of us. My signature was on every line, every clause. I felt nothing dramatic, nothing triumphant, just quiet. Daniel, Sophie said, her tone calm as always, once you sign these, it's final. Divorce is official. You're free. I nodded slowly, lifting the pen. I understand. I've already accepted it in my mind. This closure doesn't need fireworks. She smiled faintly. Good. That's the way it should be. Calm, composed. You've earned that. I signed a final document and placed the pen down carefully. Done. Done, Sophie echoed. Now what will you do next? I leaned back in the chair, staring at the window. Live. Rebuild. Reclaim my life without their shadows in it. Sophie nodded, satisfied. Good. Let the past stay where it belongs. You don't need them anymore. A week later, Emily moved out of the city. She didn't fight, didn't argue. She packed quietly, leaving only a note on the kitchen counter. I read it once, then folded it carefully and tucked it away. Daniel, are you okay? Marcus asked when he came over that afternoon. He leaned against the doorframe, watching me. I will be, I said softly, placing the note in my drawer. Emily leaving, it's final. And I'm ready for it. No anger, no bitterness. Just acceptance. He nodded slowly. I think you finally understand what it means to let go. Not with rage, not with revenge, but with control. You've changed. I have, I admitted. I'm not the same man who left for war. War broke me physically, but betrayal rebuilt me. Marcus smiled faintly, his eyes reflecting pride. Exactly. You finally understand, Dan. That's what I told you all along. I walked through the empty streets that evening, the city lights reflecting in the wet pavement from a recent rain. Everything felt different. Clear. The air didn't carry tension anymore. Just possibilities. Oliver had vanished completely. No calls, no messages, nothing. I didn't seek him out, and he didn't try to find me. That void was comforting in its own way. No confrontation, no lingering resentment. Just silence. I paused at a bridge overlooking the river. The water flowed steadily below, relentless and calm. I whispered to myself, I went to war to fight enemies, but I came home and learned the real battle was within the people I loved. A soft laugh behind me startled me. Marcus was leaning against the railing, arms crossed. Still poetic, even after everything, he said lightly. I suppose, I said, smiling faintly. Poetry helps me make sense of chaos. He glanced at me seriously. Daniel, look at you. You're strong, not just physically, mentally, emotionally. You endured what would have broken most people, and now Now, I asked, raising an eyebrow. Now you're free. Free to be yourself, without ghosts haunting every step. Free to live without betrayal dangling over your head. I stared at the water, letting the words sink in. He was right. For the first time, I felt unshackled. No one could manipulate me. No one could control my emotions. I was mine again. Freedom feels strange, I said quietly. I expected relief, but I also feel responsibility. Responsibility to myself, to make sure I don't fall into the same traps again. That's good, Marcus said. That's exactly what makes you different now. You've learned. You've grown. Pain forged you into someone better, not bitter. I exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of the last months lift from my shoulders. Better, yes. And maybe wiser. Stronger. I've faced war, loss, betrayal, and I survived it all. I didn't just endure. I transformed. Marcus nodded, smiling. Transformation is the hard part. Most people never get there. You did, Daniel. You're living proof. I looked at him, a quiet laugh escaping me. I thought the hardest battles were overseas. Bullets, explosions, chaos. I was ready for all of it. But nothing prepared me for the battle at home. The betrayal, the lies, the people I trusted most. Life has a way of teaching the toughest lessons, Marcus said softly. And you passed them, Daniel. You didn't crumble. You rebuilt yourself from the ruins. I turned my gaze back to the river, feeling a strange calm wash over me. War didn't break me, I said, almost whispering, but betrayal rebuilt me. Marcus stepped closer, clapping me on the shoulder. Now you understand. You've been tested in every way possible, and look at you. Stronger than ever. No one can take this from you. I nodded slowly, feeling a sense of peace I hadn't known in months. I wasn't angry. I wasn't desperate. I was alive, aware, and in control. I'll never forget what I lost, I admitted quietly. Love, trust, illusions of family, and loyalty. But I also won something more important, myself. Marcus smiled, eyes gleaming with pride. Exactly, and that's the real victory. I closed my eyes for a moment, letting the city lights flicker in my mind. The war, the betrayal, the heartbreak, it had shaped me. I wasn't the same man who left for combat 6 months ago. I was stronger, smarter, awake. I opened my eyes, taking a deep breath. The night air felt cool, clean, alive. And in that moment, I finally felt it, closure. Not through drama, not through revenge, not through anger. Just quiet, steadfast, unshakable control over my life and my choices. I whispered one last line to myself, letting it settle into the marrow of my bones. I went to war to fight enemies, but I came home and learned the real battle was within the people I loved. I smiled faintly, turning away from the bridge, feeling the weight of the past lift with every step. The man who left for war was gone. The man who returned was unstoppable.